Seattle and in Medford. Have a great day tomorrow.
Channel 2 weather every hour is brought to you by Portland International Airport. Call 877-PDX-INFO for construction updates.
This is an ABC News special report. ABC 2000 Super Tuesday. Now reporting, Peter Jennings.
Good evening, everybody. The polls on this presidential primary day, this Super Tuesday, the closest we've ever had to a national primary, have now closed in 10 states, including 2 just a couple of moments ago. So ABC News is now in a position to project winners. So if you'll stay with us for a few minutes, we'll give you a complete picture of what's going on in the country up until now. Just now, the polls have closed in the state of New York. Let's take a look at what's happening on the Republican side. ABC News projects that it is still too close to call in New York City between Mr. Bush and I believe that should be Mr. McCain, though Mr. Forbes would be terribly pleased to see his picture there. He dropped out of the race some time ago. In Rhode Island, we do project that John McCain is the winner in the state of Rhode Island. And if you look there, 14 delegates at stake. This is all about delegates this evening. And we'll get to the delegate count in just a moment. But let's just take a quick look at what George Bush has won throughout the evening. He's won the Republican primary in Ohio. He has won the primary in Georgia very comfortably there. He has won very easily the primary in Missouri, as well as the primary in Maryland and the primary in Maine. So Mr. Bush has had a particularly good night. And as we said, this is all about getting delegates to support you at the convention. So let's look and see at what Mr. Bush particularly has garnered tonight in terms of delegates around the country. He's got quite a significant lead on Mr. McCain at the moment. And before we get out of here, we'll tell you exactly what happened. There it is. Mr. Bush has 317 and Mr. McCain has 199. Now, Mr. McCain has had some victories this evening. Let's take a look at the state of Massachusetts, where ABC projects that Mr. McCain is the winner in the Republican primary up there by a very wide margin in the state of Massachusetts. And we also have projected that Mr. McCain is the winner in the state of Connecticut. He picks up 25 delegates there, but you'll see he's a long, long way from getting the delegates he needed, though he does at this point in the evening still have some considerable clout. He's done very well from independents, as we'll look in a moment, but that's what it looks like overall for the Republicans tonight. Mr. McCain winning Massachusetts, Connecticut, Vermont, and Rhode Island. Now, let's take a look at the Democrats in the 2 states which have just closed now, New York and Rhode Island. ABC News projects that Al Gore is the winner in New York, and Rhode Island is still too close to call, but there on your screen is the picture of the evening on the Democratic side. Mr. Gore has won New York, Massachusetts, Missouri, Maryland, Connecticut, Vermont, Georgia, Ohio, and Maine. Mr. Bradley has won nothing at this point in the evening. Polls are still open on the West Coast, and Rhode Island is still too close to call. Now see how this translates into delegates on the Democratic side. It is, quite frankly, not a contest at this moment. Mr. Gore has had one very, very good day. Let's try to analyze just a little bit of this. First of all, as you know, we conduct exit polls to get some understanding of why people do what they do when they go to the polls. ABC's Lynn Sherr has been looking at them. Lynn, let's talk about New York, because so much focus on the Republican side. What was working for Mr. Bush in New York?
Well, for one thing, Peter, you know that big flap about his speech at Bob Jones University with its anti-Catholic sentiments. It seems that Governor Bush may have made up some ground on that particular issue. Let's take a look at the numbers. In New York State, where 51% of the voters are Catholic, Governor Bush is getting 49% of their vote, the Catholic vote, compared to 47% for John McCain. And perhaps, Peter, it was that letter of apology to Cardinal O'Connor that Governor Bush wrote.
What are you finding with new voters? We've talked about new voters in every primary and caucus around the country.
New voters, New York is, again, a perfect place to look. Let's take a look at the numbers. In New York State today, almost a quarter of the voters were new voters. 61% went for John McCain as opposed to 35% for Governor Bush. John McCain, Peter, has really energized this campaign. He can take credit for quite a lot of new voters.
But he's not getting credit for at least one thing, or he's getting credit where he doesn't want it. Ever since South Carolina, we've been talking about the attack ads. Mr. Bush started them in South Carolina. Mr. McCain came into his own in Michigan. What's happening in California?
Attack ads, nasty barbs, terrible things people were saying about each other on the campaign trail. Let's take a look at the numbers again. In California, we asked who had the more unfair ads. 47% said Senator McCain, 29% Governor Bush. So, Peter, obviously, this was affecting the senator more than the governor.
Okay, thanks very much. It reminds me, thanks, Lynn, very much. Reminds me a little bit the other day that people were going for John McCain because they liked his position on choice, even though it was exactly like Mr. Bush's. Now, let's talk to several of our correspondents, but let's start with our political analyst, George Stephanopoulos. George, are you at this point in the evening prepared to say that Mr. McCain and Mr. Bradley are out of it altogether?
Well, Peter, it was an awful lot of fun while it lasted for us political junkies, but yes, I mean, both of these independent insurgents ran into what Bradley called entrenched power, what McCain called the old Republican Party, the establishment. And, you know, they had a tough challenge. In good economic times, without a major war, it's just very tough for reform candidates to break the back of the establishment in party primaries.
You've pointed out many times in a very honest way that political junkies like this sort of thing and the press likes a good race. But does the demise of Mr. McCain or Mr. Bradley surprise you, or does one surprise you more or less than the other?
Well, I think the magnitude of Bradley's defeat surprises me. I thought he was going to be able to carry this on longer, to win some states. Right now he's having a very, very tough time. His campaign never really got off the ground. But the calendar was always working against John McCain. He knew he had to have a clean sweep going into Super Tuesday. He didn't get it. That loss in South Carolina was big.
Hang on for a second, George. Let's go to the campaigns themselves. ABC's Dean Reynolds covers the Bush campaign. He's had a very good day today, Dean, and he has survived the primary season. Where does he think his repair jobs need to begin?
Well, I think he has to do some repairs of his image that came out of South Carolina, Peter, that of a very, very conservative candidate, and he was allowed Senator McCain to sort of get the liberal to moderate vote. He needs to go back and get some of that. Tonight, when he was looking at the returns coming in, his aides and the governor were sort of strategizing about how they could do that. And, of course, there will be a greater emphasis on issues like education, tax cuts, and bringing the prosperity to all of the Americans, including those who have been left out of the Clinton-Gore prosperity.
Thanks very much. Dean Reynolds is with the Bush campaign. We'll come back to you before the evening is over. Mr. Gore has just showed up to celebrate in Tennessee where he is, and Terry Moran is down there at headquarters. Terry?
Well, Peter, as you point out, he's got a lot to celebrate. This is a candidate who has just been on a virtual victory march over the last 10 days to 2 weeks. He is a candidate who has been sharpened by this challenge. Months ago, he says, shed the shell of the vice presidency and started speaking for himself. The challenge has definitely helped him as a candidate. Tonight, he's going to try to reach out to the Bradley people and to those independents. Thanks very much, Terry Moran. There is the vice president, Mr. Gore, and Tipper. She's always instrumental in his political campaign. She had her moments when she's looked pretty tired, as has Mr. Gore, but energized this evening. And just before we go back to our regular programming, I want to have a brief word with Jackie Judd, who has covered the Bradley campaign for us. And as George Stephanopoulos said a little earlier, Jackie, it's been a very difficult time for him. But I want to ask you a personal question, if I may. What's he been like? You swallowed hard. What's he been like to cover?
Well, you know, Peter, it is true that he is not the warm and fuzzy kind of guy. He pretty much kept his distance from the press for the better part of this campaign. But ironically, what's happened over the past few days is he seems to have loosened up. There was a psycho theory going around on the campaign press bus, but that somehow he was slightly unburdened because what is happening tonight seems so clear. And so he does have some warmth to him, a good sense of humor, but for the better part of this campaign, he was pretty restrained.
In a phrase, Jackie, is he going to drop out now?
His aides are being very cautious with their language, Peter, at this point, because some polls are still open, but we are being given details about a speech that we presume will be delivered on Thursday, in which he says it is the end of his candidacy.
Thanks very much, Jackie Judd. Now, finally, to the McCain campaign, because it's a big question for the McCain campaign. Polls are still open in parts of the country. We're very well aware. But Linda Douglas, who's on the McCain campaign, they've been sort of running you a bit of ring around the rosy this evening on his future plans, haven't they?
Very much so, Peter. They don't want voters in California to think that he's going to withdraw. They say he will not withdraw from the race tonight. They've put out a schedule that indicates he's going to keep campaigning in Colorado and Illinois. It is not true whether he's actually going to keep to that schedule, but many of his aides and his supporters are talking about the campaign in the past tense. McCain's aides themselves say that what he has to do now is figure out what to do with those voters who supported him all along, Peter.
Thanks very much, Linda Douglas. A reminder, John McCain still has California ahead of him this evening, as does Mr. Bradley. Mr. Bradley, based on the earlier polls, doesn't have an enormous amount to look forward to. But Mr. McCain has said many times he has begun to lead a movement. We'll see how he feels when he gets up tomorrow morning. Hope you'll continue to follow this on abcnews.com. We'll be back periodically throughout the evening, and then there'll be a complete wrap-up and analysis on Nightline later this evening. We hope you enjoy your evening. I'm Peter Jennings in New York.
ABC 2000, Super Tuesday. Brought to you by Chrysler, engineered to be great cars.
What could you do with an extra $4,700? Well, during Chrysler's National Minivan Savings Event, get 0.9 financing for 60 months for over $4,700 in finance savings. Only your Chrysler Plymouth dealer has this offer and this selection of minivans. So indulge yourself. Or not. Only Chrysler offers 0.9 financing for 60 months on all 2000 minivans.
This has been an ABC News special report. For continuing coverage of Super Tuesday, stay with ABC News at abcnews.com.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Slightly different world news this evening, as most of you around the country, I guess all of you around the country, have just been given a sense of what the political landscape looks this evening on this first national primary. So let's turn to some of the other news. There was a certain uncertainty on Wall Street today, and divergence too, in that the Dow Jones was down and the NASDAQ briefly touched 5,000. The Dow had its fourth largest point drop ever, down 374 points to close at 97.96. On the NASDAQ, stocks finished down 57 points. This is basically about old and new industries today. The decline in the Dow was touched off by an unexpected announcement from one of the country's most famous companies. ABC's Betsy Stark is on that story.
More than a third of the drop in the Dow can be blamed on a huge decline in Procter & Gamble, a Dow stock and the #1 consumer products company in the world. The maker of Tide detergent and Crest toothpaste plunged more than 30% today after a surprise warning that its earnings this year will be lower than expected.
14,482.
And the news played right into the current psychology in the market. Investors in love with technology used it as another excuse to sell so-called old economy stocks, many of which have been plummeting in recent weeks, even as they deliver strong earnings. GE is down more than 15% this year. American Express, 24%. Johnson & Johnson, almost 28%. Walmart, nearly 31%.
Right now, what we're seeing is investors placing probably far too unrealistic expectations on the potential for some of these high-growth technology stocks. At the same time, they're discounting some very good companies that will deliver very good growth rates.
The Dow Jones Industrial Average is now down almost 15% this year, while the technology-heavy NASDAQ is up 19%. All this is happening against the backdrop of rising interest rates. Well, that's weighing on old-fashioned Dow stocks. Technology stocks so far seem to be immune. Betsy Stark, ABC News at the New York Stock Exchange.
Thank you very much, Betsy. In just a moment, we'll have some of the other news today. Hope you'll stay with us.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by Gateway.
So you want a PC with awesome power. But you don't want to clean out your savings. And you don't want to get off the couch. Well, sit back and call 1-800-GATEWAY. For an incredible $1,299, you can get a Gateway Select PC with a blazing 650 megahertz AMD Athlon processor. And we'll deliver it right to that place you call home. Call 1-800-GATEWAY.
I'm in a payphone. I'm not from here. I took my shopping bags when I turned around to grab the purse. The cab was gone. No, I didn't. I'm very calm, sir. I just left my wallet with $1,000 in the cab. It's all my cash. I have nothing. Excuse me? No, I didn't get the driver's name. You don't understand. I'm on vacation. Everything is in that cab.
Starting to feel a little cramped by your present surroundings? RE/MAX can help you find a new home while selling your current one to someone who'll find it absolutely perfect. Look for RE/MAX. Nobody sells more real estate.
Overseas now in Kosovo today, some of the worst fighting in 6 months between ethnic Albanians and Serbs. A street scuffle exploded into grenades and gunfire in the divided city of Mitrovica. The UN peacekeepers tried to stop it. 24 civilians and 16 French peacekeepers were wounded. And the Americans think they know who's to blame. Here's ABC's John McWethy.
U.S. intelligence sources say that Yugoslav leader Slobodan Milosevic has sent secret police and paramilitary to Mitrovica to provoke the kind of violence that happened today.
He is upping his profile and demonstrating that he's the only man who can really protect the Serbs in Mitrovica and in Kosovo.
Every time peacekeepers fire their guns, U.S. officials contend Milosevic wins. The violence cripples efforts by the UN to get local Serbs and ethnic Albanians to cooperate with each other. It alienates peacekeepers from those they are supposedly protecting, and it causes strains within NATO about whether still more troops are needed. The U.S. is also watching an increasingly tense situation further south, just outside Kosovo in Yugoslav-held territory. Since early winter, Milosevic has been sending reinforcements to the area.
U.S. military officials see the Serb troop buildup not as a prelude to war, but yet another attempt by Milosevic to raise tensions here in Kosovo.
The U.S. has been forced to build watchtowers along the border and to increase its patrols, just the kind of expensive extra effort that American officials say must delight the Serb leader. John McWethy, ABC News, the Pentagon.
When we come back, we're going to go to California, where there is a very intense debate about whether gay marriage should be legally recognized.
We are healthy, strong, funny, energetic, even sexy. We take good care of ourselves, and we drink Ensure when we can't eat nutritious foods like these. Ensure provides essential vitamins and minerals you find in vegetables, calcium like in milk, and protein like in fish. Ensure is a source of complete balanced nutrition and energy, so we can get the most out of life. Drink Ensure, and drink to your health.
Wind tunnel by Hoover picks up more dirt than any other clean air upright. And you can get one that's self-propelled.
In clinical studies, Bengay significantly reduced minor arthritis pain, increasing range of motion and flexibility. And now for your aches and pains, get the heating relief of Ultra Strength Bengay with 3 pain relievers. It's medicine for your moving parts.
What could you do with an extra $4,700? Well, during Chrysler's National Minivan Savings Event, get 0.9 financing for 60 months for over $4,700 in finance savings. Only your Chrysler Plymouth dealer has this offer and this selection of minivans. So indulge yourself. Or not. Only Chrysler offers 0.9 financing for 60 months on all 2000 minivans.
Well, when I got hurt and missed work, thought I had supplemental insurance.
Supplemental insurance? What's that?
Aflac. Well, even best insurance doesn't give you cash to cover things like lost pay, other expenses. This does.
What does?
Aflac. Shouldn't ask about it at work.
Really? And what's it called?
Aflac. Without it, no insurance is complete.
In California today, along with voting for president, people are going to be voting on more than 20 different ballot propositions and initiatives, everything from legalizing church raffles to giving prosecutors more authority to try young people as adults. A nonpartisan group called the California Voter Foundation has come up with a song to help people sift through the dizzying array of options.
Oh, there once was a proposition, its number was 1A, the first of 20 measures to decide by election day. It's the proposition song, let's all be singing along, 'cause the ballot is too darn long.
Busy California voters today. Of all the propositions on the ballot, there none is more intense than number 22, which would prevent the state from recognizing same-sex marriages. Here's ABC's Peggy Waymeyer.
Rachel Prey and Laura Weinstock have some of the protections of a married couple, but they'd like to have all of them now that they've adopted 2-year-old Talia.
I would like the ability to have the equal benefits and protections of marriage and equal respect.
Hey, mira. But if Proposition 22 passes, that marriage may never happen. The measure says only marriage between a man and a woman is valid or recognized in California.
Our state. Shouldn't it be our choice? Vote yes.
Opponents charge Proposition 22
would legalize discrimination against gay and lesbian Americans and their families.
They've raised almost $6 million to defeat the amendment with the help of celebrities.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of anyone you want.
Proposition 22 advocates say the measure is not about discrimination. It's about closing a legal loophole to prevent gays and lesbians from ever being able to marry somewhere else and have the marriage recognized in California. For religious conservatives, the issue of same-sex marriage has become so emotionally charged and threatening that in many parts of the country, gay marriage has replaced abortion as the #1 concern on their moral agenda. Influential evangelical leader James Dobson is telling his 5 million radio listeners the California vote to restrict marriage to a man and a woman will have profound national consequences.
If it fails, the institution of the family is going to be damaged forever.
Some Protestant and Jewish groups have joined the opposition to Proposition 22. But Catholics, Mormons, and evangelicals, who make up more than 40% of the state's population, have raised millions of dollars to pass the amendment.
It's time for us to take a stand in favor of what God planned. We think we're on a moral slide right now. I think this is the ultimate avalanche. If we let go of this foundational concept of a marriage between a man and a woman as a foundation for family life.
We're not living in that ideal world. The majority of American families are not one mother and one father.
In the latest poll, 53% of Californians back Proposition 22, which means this could become the 31st state to slam the door on same-sex marriage. Peggy Waymeyer, ABC News, Los Angeles.
When we come back, Iranian women and freedom in the sky.
Now it's just right, babe. Right as it can be.
Frank's Red Hot, just the right blend of heat and spice for a whole lot of flavor.
It's just so right, babe.
Frank's Red Hot, tasting just right.
Right now, a complete pair of glasses is only $99 at LensCrafters.
With this offer, we're making it easier for more people to see. Easier for them to look good, too.
The LensCrafters $99 complete pair sale. Hurry, offer ends March 11th.
I see lots of people with allergies, but the ones with multi-symptom nasal allergies, they're suffering from it all. That annoying post-nasal drip, the sneezing, itchy, runny nose, the nasal congestion. For that kind of allergy, I prescribe multi-symptom Flonase.
Flonase nasal spray once a day relieves all nasal allergy symptoms, even post-nasal drip.
All it takes is Flonase.
The #1 prescribed nasal allergy spray. Even kids as young as 4 can use Flonase. For best results, use daily. If side effects occur, they are generally mild and may include headache, nosebleed, or sore throat. Call to learn more. Ask your doctor about multi-symptom Flonase.
When you get it all it takes is Flonase.
You don't breed champion dogs to get rich. You do it for the love of the breed. Fortunately, what a dog needs to thrive doesn't cost much. Room to play, fresh air, caring, knowledgeable guidance, and pedigree. Pedigree, developed with vets, recommended by top breeders.
Elizabeth Cady Stanton believed that the vote was the tool by which all of the rights are gained. She provided the shoulders on which women could stand higher. And I think that's a great legacy. Sally Regan of Merrill Lynch, she's interested in helping others make their way. There was something that resonated in her life and my life. Susan B. Anthony had a great statement. Every woman must have a purse of her own.
Finally from us this evening, Iran, where change is quite literally in the air. In the wake of last month's elections and the defeat of the religious conservatives who took power 20 years ago, we came across one very interesting sign of the times. High in the mountains of North Tehran, ABC's Gillian Findlay has just been there.
It's the weekend, and the skies above Tehran are filled with thrill seekers. Another unexpected image from this country, this one courtesy of the Tehran Women's Paragliding Club. Azza Farahani is their coach and a paragliding champion. The fact that you are filming this, she says, shows the world that Iranian women are not confined to the house and to their husbands. They can be active along with men. They can, as long as they still observe Iran's strict Islamic dress code. Scarves over heads, long coats, or chadors over the rest of their bodies. The women admit it makes strapping into the parachute a bit of a chore, but this being Iran, they know better than to complain. Men are less afraid. As he helped his wife prepare her chute, this man told us the rules should be relaxed. So she can move more freely, he said, and fly better. 9-year-old Anahita Sarajan is flying for the first time today. Her father brought her because of the limits on women. Now that Iran is starting to change, he says, parents want to make it up to their daughters by giving them more experiences. Women have only been allowed to do this since last summer. Interest has skyrocketed. Hundreds have come out to try, university students, housewives, a lot of young girls who told us that one of the reasons they like this sport is that in the air, once they get into the air, they are just like boys. As one woman said, in the end, it is all about freedom. Julian Finley, ABC News, Tehran.
Well, that is our report on World News Tonight. Stay with ABC News, abcnews.com for coverage of the results from all the Super Tuesday primaries throughout the evening. We'll be here. I'm Peter Jennings. Have a good evening.
From ABC News tomorrow, deaf children and the breakthrough ear implant that could change their lives forever. Good Morning America's emotional journey and the surprising controversy tomorrow. And on World News Tonight, paying down the national debt. Who said it would be a good thing? Can political rhetoric hurt us? Watch ABC's World News Tonight.
This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source.